Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Diagramming English while learning Latin. This is from Robert Henle's book, First Year Latin, and this is in Chapter 3. This is exercise 53. All right, in exercise 53, we're going from English into Latin, which is a little trickier, so I wanted to help my students out with this one. So, he heard the shouting of the leading men. This is sentence number 1. Subject of the sentence is he. It's a subject pronoun. It's in the nominative case, or would be if we were going to use the pronoun he. We won't. You'll see why in a minute. He heard, verb, that's in the past tense. What did he hear? He heard shouting. Now, shouting is a verb. However, it's being used as a noun in this case, direct object accusative case, which means that shouting is actually a gerund. Of, preposition of whom, men, object of the preposition, what kind of men, the leading men or the chief men. In English, this is also a verb, but it's used here to describe men, which makes it a participle. So when you have an ing word used as an adjective, it's generally a participle. When you have an ing word in English used as a noun, it's generally a gerund. The is an article adjective. The Latin doesn't have any, so we'll eliminate it. The is another article adjective. We will diagram it though. Okay, so let's diagram this sentence in English, and it's going to look quite different in Latin. I'll start with the main line. He, what did he do? He heard. What did he hear? He heard the shouting. Okay, it gets a little weird here because this is a gerund. So it goes on an elevated line, and then you'll have this diagonal slanted line here. And then the gerund, let's get rid of accusative here, give myself some room. The gerund will actually go across the line. So he heard shouting. Still in the direct object position, but when you're diagramming a gerund, you'll put it on this crazy crooked line here. He heard shouting, he heard the shouting, and he heard the shouting of men. Leading is a participle, and we also diagram it in a rather strange fashion. So we'll draw, again, what looks like a participial or a prepositional phrase diagram underneath men. But then, just like shouting, we'll slant the word across both lines. So we'll have leading, just like we did with shouting. So this is how we diagram gerunds. This is how we diagram participles, for those of you learning how to diagram English sentences. Okay, so now we're going to translate this into Latin, but it's going to look quite a bit different. We're not going to use the pronoun he. We'll eliminate that. We're just going to go with heard. And actually, let's put the verb at the end. So let's come back to he heard, and we will start with the shouting. He heard the shouting. So clamorem, clamor, oops, not clamar. Clamor is shout, as in a shout, and since this is a noun, and since the gerund is acting as a noun, is a verb acting as a noun, we'll go with the noun form. It's accusative. Remember, I erased it up there, but it's accusative, so we have clamorem. So that's what he's hearing. Now, of the leading men, this is a prepositional phrase, and it's all in the genitive case. And we actually don't need of, because the ending will tell us that it is of, because it'll be in the genitive case. And then with leading men, the Romans actually have a word for that, which is princeps. So all we got to do is take princeps, and this is where we get our English word prince and principle and stuff like that. We take the word princeps and simply give it the genitive plural ending, which it will change this word to princip. Let me change that. I believe it's going to be principum. Clamorem principum, and then he heard. Audivit. Of course, it's audivit because it is in the past tense, or in Latin perfectum, the perfect tense. Okay, let's look at another one. They killed the chiefs of the tribe. There's a lot of gruesome sentences in Mr. Henley's book. They, subject of the sentence, nominative case, it's a subject pronoun. What are they doing, or what did they do? They killed. Verb, what did they kill? They killed the chiefs of preposition of whom, tribe, object of the preposition of the tribe, prepositional phrase, and it's in the genitive case. The is an article adjective. We don't need either of those, so we'll eliminate those. Okay, they killed. They killed. We have a direct object, so we put it on the main line after a straight stick. They killed chiefs. They killed, they killed the chiefs. And they killed the chiefs of tribe the. All right, so now all we got to do is put this into Latin, and we're going to move the verb to the end. So let's start with chiefs. Chiefs in the accusative plural is principes. Now, of the tribe, tribe is gens, but the genitive of tribe is gentis, which means of the tribe. So we will add all endings to the root word, which is gent, which we find by dropping the genitive ending. And since it's of a singular tribe, we actually go right back to the accusative or the genitive singular. So princeps gentis, and then they killed. This is in the past tense, or in Latin the perfectum perfect tense. Princeps gentis, and then kill. Occidere becomes occiderunt. They killed. It ends with nt because it's they. They, plural, are doing the killing. They're killing the chiefs of the tribe. Again, sorry about the gruesome sentence. Principes gentis occiderunt. There are dangers in the mountains. There's a couple of ways to diagram this, and we'll get to this in just a second. There are dangers in the mountains. Subject of the sentence, dangers. Subject of the sentence, nominative case. Dangers what? Dangers are. Verb. Dangers are where? In, preposition, in mountains, object of the preposition, in the mountains, prepositional phrase, ablative case, because that's where the dangers are located. The is an article adjective. We don't need that, so we'll get rid of that. And then there can either be an expletive, or you could be saying that the dangers are there, adverb, in the mountains. I always circle adverbs, so we can do it either way. There are dangers in the mountains, or dangers are there in the mountains. Kind of both ways that we can translate this sentence. So let's go with the expletive version. And in that version, we'll just stick there up in the top corner, top left-hand corner above the diagram. There, and then we'll put dangers as the subject here on the subject side. Dangers are where? Dangers are in mountains, and the article adjective underneath. Dangers are in the mountains. There are dangers in the mountains. It's kind of easy to translate there are because in Latin we have one word that does the job of there are, and that is sunt. Sunt, and then now we've got there are. Now all we need is dangers in the mountains. So sunt pericula. This is where we get the English word peril. Sunt pericula. And in the mountains, in. Now, mons is mountain. The genitive of mons is montis. So that means of the mountain. To find the root word, we drop the genitive, so we'll get rid of the is, and we're left with mont. And we will add the ablative plural endings, or ending ibus, and we will end up with sunt pericula in montibus. Sunt pericula in montibus. Okay, moving on, we have the next sentence. The general praises the mothers and fathers of the soldiers. Lots of war sentences in Mr. Henle's book. Subject of the sentence, general. Subject of the sentence, nominative case. What's he doing? He's praising. Verb, what's he praising? He's praising two things. The direct object, mothers, accusative case, as well as the direct object, fathers, accusative case. So he's praising both of these things, and as a conjunction that joins the two. Of is a preposition. Soldiers is the object of the preposition. Of the soldiers is a prepositional phrase in the genitive case. The is an article adjective. The is an article adjective. The is an article adjective. We don't need those in Latin, so we'll cross them out, though we will diagram them. Okay, so here we go. Let's see, how are we going to do this? Leave myself enough room for Latin. Put it over here. The general, we'll just call him G. The general praises, this will leave me a little room. He praises the direct objects. Now we have two direct objects here, so we're going to create what my students call a price tag. The general praises the mothers. And we'll join the conjunction here, and I'm just going to stick the symbol in there for and. He praises the fathers. And then of the soldiers, technically it's the fathers and the mothers and the fathers of the soldiers, but we'll just put of the soldiers underneath fathers. Of soldiers, we're going to abbreviate it because I'm running out of room, of the soldiers. Okay, so the general praises the mothers and the fathers of the soldiers. Now we have to go back and translate this into Latin. General in the nominative case is imperator. That's where we get the English word emperor. Imperator. The imperator, let's put the verb at the end, so let's go to mothers now, and this is in the accusative case, and it's plural. Imperator matres et patres. Oops. So we have the general, the mothers, and the fathers. Now we need of the soldiers. Miles is soldier in Latin, but the genitive is militis. So to find the root word, I keep dotting those I's and don't need to, we simply drop the genitive ending, so we're left with milit. Now I can finally dot the I's. And we need the plural genitive ending to say of the soldiers. We have genitive, we have plural, we need the plural genitive ending. That's going to be um. So, imperator matres et patres militum, or militum, and the only thing we need now is the verb, which is a present tense verb, and so that's pretty simple actually. Imperator matres et patres militum laudat. Imperator matres et patres militum laudat. The brothers are with Caesar in Gaul. Subject of the sentence, brothers. Subject of the sentence, nominative case. What are we saying about the brothers? They are. We're saying that they exist with Caesar in Gaul, so this is a state of being verb. They are with, preposition, with whom? Caesar. He's the object of the preposition. Because they're with Caesar, and because we have the word with, it's in the ablative case. Caesar will go into the ablative case. In is a preposition. Gaul is the object of the preposition. In Gaul is a prepositional phrase and also goes into the ablative case because we're actually located in something. In Latin, if you are located inside something and your position is inside something, then you use in plus the ablative. Okay, let's get rid of that. And let's diagram. Of course, the article adjective can go away. Okay, here we go. Brothers. The brothers are there with Caesar. Now, we can either put with Caesar and Caesar is in Gaul, like this. They're with Caesar in Gaul. Or if the in Gaul is actually referring back to the brothers because the brothers are in Gaul, we can put the prepositional phrase over here, in Gaul. The brothers are with Caesar in Gaul. I'm going to eliminate the one at the bottom simply because I need this space as I translate it, and we'll just leave it at that. Okay, the brothers are with Caesar in Gaul. In Latin, frater is brother. The root is fratre from fratris, but we drop the genitive ending, and we're left with the root word F-R-A-T-R. And then we add the plural nominative, which is es, fratres. This is third declension plural nominative. So fratres, now let's go with in Gaul. In Gallia. So we have the brothers in Gaul. Let's add with Caesar. Fratres in Gallia cum. Now, Caesar in Latin, oops, I'm spelling this wrong, it actually is a declinable word. So the genitive, Caesar is the nominative, or Caesar, if you're using ecclesiastical pronunciation, which is what I use, Caesar, and then the genitive Caesaris. Okay, but since this is ablative, we have to get rid of the is and replace it with the ablative ending, which is Cesare, or which is e, which creates Cesare. So, fratres in Gallia cum Cesare, and then all we need is r. And we've already had r in a previous sentence, sunt. Fratres in Gallia cum Cesare sunt. Fratres in Gallia cum Cesare sunt. Okay, they fortified the hills on account of the war. Subject of the sentence, they. Subject of the sentence, nominative case, it's actually a subject pronoun. What are they doing? They fortified. Verb, what did they fortify? They fortified the hills. Direct object, accusative case. Why did they do this? Well, kind of give these prepositional phrases here give us the reason. On account, on, preposition, account, object of the preposition, of preposition, of war, object of the preposition. Now, both of these, this technically would go into the ablative case. Both of these are not going to work out in Latin, and of the war would actually go into the genitive case because of. That's not going to work because this is one word in Latin. On account of, actually we can include of here. Now it's starting to get messy. But anyway, on account of is one word in Latin, and it's propter. We'll get to that in a minute. Article, adjective, eliminate that. All right, so they fortified. They fortified the hills. Oops, spelled that wrong. I don't know what hillies are. They fortified the hills. Why did they do it? They fortified, we'll just stick it under here, on, oops, I'm getting in a rush and I'm making mistakes. On account, it's a long video, of war. Now, I'm actually going to eliminate on account of war to give myself some room. And also, like I told you in Latin, it's going to work out differently. It's not going to be prepositional phrases. So let's get rid of that just to give myself some room. And let's get started translating this into Latin. So here's where the differences stem in Latin. On account of, as I told you, is one word in Latin, and that is propter. And it is actually a preposition which pushes the next word into the accusative case. So no matter what, the next word is going into the accusative case. So because of war would not be propter belli, so you would expect it to be belli, of war, but because of propter, this preposition, the next word's going into the ablative case, it's going to change to bellum. So propter bellum. So now we have propter bellum, which is on account of the war. We have that entire phrase. Propter bellum. What did they do? They fortified the hills. So colis is hill in Latin. Then that's the nominative and the genitive. So we'll drop the genitive ending, and we're left with the root word col, and we will add the plural accusative endings, which is es. Third declension plural accusative endings. So we have propter bellum coles, and now all we need is they fortified. And fortified is muniri. So we're just going to go right to the verb muni verunt. It's past tense or perfect tense in Latin. So we have verunt as the ending because it's they did something. And then the verb here is muni. They fortified. So propter bellum colis muni verunt. They fortified the hills on account of the war. The Romans constructed the roads in the mountains. Last sentence. Subject of the sentence, Romans. Subject of the sentence, nominative case. What are they doing? They're constructing. Verb. What are they constructing? They're constructing roads. Direct object, accusative case. Where are they constructing these roads? In, preposition. In what? Mountains. Object of the preposition. In the mountains, prepositional phrase, ablative case. The is an article adjective. The is an article adjective. Okay? Pretty straightforward diagram here. Romans, actually let's just do it like that, speed things up. Romans constructed The Romans constructed roads. And where did they construct those roads? They actually constructed them in the mountains. Since we're answering the question where, this is actually an adverbial prepositional phrase, and we're going to put it under the verb. In the mountains. All right, so there we go. The Romans constructed, let's add the article adjective here. The Romans constructed roads in the mountains. I'm going to get rid of at least one of these article adjectives to give myself some room, so just remember that it was there. We have the Romans constructed the roads in the mountains. Let's translate this into Latin. Romani. Romani. We'll put the verb at the end, Romani vias. So here are the roads. Via is road, but to make it plural accusative, we're going to add an S, vias. We've already had in the mountains, so let's just stick that one up there. In montibus. We know that it's an ablative plural, and so it's going to be in montibus. Romani vias in montibus. And then what are they doing? Well, they actually... Mr. Henle uses the word muniverunt, but I think that's a mistake. Let's go with edificio. Edificio means I build. So they built would be edifici or edifici. Actually, edificiaverunt would be the verb in the perfect tense, but I did stop and go and check, and according to Mr. Henle, muniverunt would work. So we'll go with his answer, muniverunt. So same as the previous sentence, which we used as fortified, but I'm guessing it can also mean constructed. At least that's how he has it listed in his book. Romani vias in montibus muniverunt. Okay, well there we go. There are more videos like this, of course, over at DwaneThomas.com. You can also click on the card right up here in the top left-hand corner to take you directly to the site. Don't forget to subscribe below, and I will see you guys next time.